Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are all over the world. We're happy to be reaching you today. Today, we're celebrating the Children's Day in Nigeria. And we decided to put a package together to celebrate our children. But you know, the parents have a large role to play here. We'll be treating a topic today, preventing child abuse and curbing childhood rape, the role of parents. I have someone wonderful on the set with me today who will join me to look at this topic, and we pray that by the time we're through, you would have gained wisdom and something to learn or teach someone with. Join me as I welcome Mrs. Lizzie Onyemefulu, a lawyer. Thank you so much for being with me on the set.
Thank you so much,
I believe that we have a lot to share with our parents. You are a mother of 3 children, and they are of different ages. Ages
7,
5
plus,
5 and 3. So that's the right time to talk about the child and how to prevent child abuse. You know, I'll just introduce and look at a few things. What is child abuse? Well, dictionary meaning, glory to God. Child abuse is a physical, emotional, sexual mistreatment of a child by a parent or a guardian, including neglect and sexual molestation. You know, just looking at this is amazing. Someone could be abusing his child or her child and don't know that by neglecting your child, you're actually abusing that child. And it can be very disturbing to find some parents. You know, the problem with society today is some parents were not taught themselves. Yes. And because they didn't have the right upbringing, the right nurture, when they too have a child, they begin to raise that child the way they were raised. You find women who say things like, well, I grew up in a very large home. My parents didn't particularly prepare something for us to eat, so everybody fend for yourself. Well, she is better placed, but she's treating her child the same way. That's abusing your child. The child is not supposed to fend for himself. A child is a dependent, and is not supposed to be. Sister Lizzie, it's a very thought-provoking topic. Preventing child abuse. What can we do to prevent child abuse? What are the things as a parent? What can be your role in preventing child abuse? You know, just note that we're talking to people of all cultures, races. We are talking to people of diverse religions. So it's only with wisdom we can communicate the thoughts that will get their attention. Because some people they think they want to raise their child the way they've studied in books, the way they've seen with someone, but not necessarily. The Bible tells us actually in Proverbs 22:6, it says, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he's old, he will not depart from it. So what can a parent do to prevent child abuse?
Thank you, Pastor. Like you explained, gave the meaning of child abuse, neglect, sexual abuse, could be emotional or psychological. In all of these things, like you said, it's based on the training of the parents. Parents may not have known better. But in this day and age, there are schools or there are programs that can teach a parent on all of these things.
Yes, you mean a parent can get on the internet or something?
And search. There are various websites, like you have childhelp.org, you have helpguide.org. There are various websites you could learn from.
Beautiful.
That you could learn from. Then you talked about neglect. Children that are neglected, it's very easy to observe that they're neglected. For example, they are dressing, they could look dirty, not well fed, they always don't want to go home. In other words, there's nowhere really for them to go to. So they're always outside on the streets. These are signs of children that have been neglected at home.
When they come around other children, they're withdrawn.
They are withdrawn. They're always behind it, sort of an inferiority complex. So these are signs of children who are neglected. But for seeing that child abuse is all-encompassing, parents must be careful to know how to deal with a child. For example, a child who is not loved will not know how to show love to another child.
Right.
will not know how to share what she has or he has with another child. So a parent can go through all of these trainings, either on the net or through programs that are basically available. But first of all, to prevent child abuse is mostly occurs through a relative, a caregiver, a parent, or someone who is close to that child.
And it's so painful because this child naturally trusts this person.
Yes.
Child abuse cannot take place on his own. The child must have seen this person come around and play, maybe even with the parents being there, you know, and the child feels daddy knows this person, mommy knows this person, and even when the person begins to behave differently to them, they don't immediately, you know, children are not suspicious. It's only adults because of, in quote, their knowledge. You know, you can toss a chocolate or lollipop to an adult. He will look at you and say,
what's the reason behind it?
What's the reason behind the lollipop, you know? But if you hold a lollipop, especially the child has seen this face before, you say, uncle is giving me a gift. That child is not going to think of anything bad. So what can parents do to prevent, just in a few words?
To prevent child abuse, firstly, who are the people we leave our children with? What are their proclivities? What do they tend to do most often? Are they people who are very touchy or who get angry easily? Because child abuse could be physical also.
Yeah.
It could be physical. They could want to punish the children, and by so doing, they inflict injuries on the child. What are they prone to? Are they people that are prone to medications, that when they're under medications, they are not in complete control of their senses?
Of the senses. Very important.
Yes, Pastor. Very important. So we should watch out for these things. And also always tend to look out for the child. Where does the child go to often? If they're in a home and you have a relative at home, does the child always go to that room? How long does this child spend in that room?
To stay there.
What is she or he doing there with that person? We have to check out for all these signs. Because for me, I prefer you all come out and play in the parlor or in the sitting room where I can see you. I want to know what is happening. And another thing is, when a child is talking to the parents, always listen. Because they might be saying something that you do not know, or something that is happening that you're not aware of.
Yeah.
But because we are busy or we are doing some things, like I attended a program and there was a woman talking. She said that her daughter had actually been abused sexually. And she was trying to get her attention, but she was talking with a friend. They were gisting. And she said, leave me after I'll talk to you. Just go away. The child kept on trying to get her attention, but she didn't get it. Until something happened. I don't know, it's like a help or someone else walked into the scene and came to tell the mother and said, this is what happened. So we should always pay attention when they're trying to say something. Or on the other hand, when the children are talking, maybe they are playing on their own and they're talking a lot.
You listen to what
they are saying. Don't hush them.
Yes.
Because there's something they are saying while they are discussing. You can just pick from there that something has happened. Those are some of the things we do. Then another thing that is very basic is we should teach our children what is the private part of the body and the public part of the body. For example, you don't tell a child, I just learned that recently, you don't tell a child that is your pee-pee. The child just go and say, that's my pee. Don't tell, I'm going to pee. Don't touch my pee-pee. This is my pee-pee. He said, no, tell him from 3 to 4, upwards, 5, 6. This is called a penis. So if someone outside, the predator comes and says, come, let me feed you with your penis. And I've already taught him this is your penis and this is your private area. Nobody should touch it, whether in school or whatever. The child will know. I say, no, don't touch me. My mother says, you shouldn't touch me. Or the girl, this is your vagina, this is your anus. Don't let anybody insert anything into it. She knows what to do. Or they're in school. Don't go somewhere secluded with a teacher or an elderly person or a child older than you. No. Let's all go together. What are we going to do? We shouldn't go to secluded areas. We shouldn't go to the toilet with someone.
In other words, the parents have a role to play.
Yes, sir.
What Sister Elizabeth is talking about here is awesome. Now, as a parent, you should teach your child these things. Don't let them learn them outside. It doesn't even matter if you're not so educated, but you have a child. Because of your child, you have to become educated. You have to find out. You have to sit your child down and say, don't go anywhere with a male. If she's a girl, and vice versa.
Yes.
Or with another girl. Because these days we find strange
Yes,
things
there is
happening.
everywhere.
Yeah. So you say, this person wants to be alone with you. Say, no, for what? Let's play here in the open. You know? And sometimes they watch films. And when they watch some of these things, it communicates the wrong thoughts to these children.
And Pastor, some of those things are not just on normal TV content only. They're now part of cartoon characters, part of cartoon stories. You have pornography on cartoon networks.
Really?
Subtly, they fix it in. There's a station they normally watch, because they normally just taught ABC, coloring. One day I just walked into it, I said, what is this? Magic. There was another one, it was pornography in subtle nature. I said, what? No way. I just barred that station. From today, nobody watches this station. In fact, if I'm not there, don't watch. We're going to be watching Love World Plus. There are cartoons on Love World Plus. That is what you'll be watching. Another thing, that we should not give them materials we ourselves have not read or watched. We must have read it or watched it before giving it to them.
Sister Lizzie, do you know there are parents who is amazing? Some even boastfully say to us, sometimes they'll say things like, you know, I just put on the TV and leave my son with the TV or leave my daughter so I can do some other things. A lot of children today are suffering abuse because the society we live in today, many parents are so busy with hustling to make money, trying to make ends meet, and then they don't immediately thinking they are trading their child for that money. Nothing goes for nothing. Now they leave home in the mornings and leave their children with child care, like you said, or a crèche, or a guardian, or someone who has that liberty, not the parent, to do whatever they want with the children. One thing I'd like to say here is, even if you had to do that, you said something very striking. When a child comes back home, as a parent, let the child talk freely. I remember when my first daughter was still very young, when she comes back from school, she's playing, oh, praise, used to play a lot. She will sing, she will dance, and she'll be singing all the nursery rhymes in school. And I'm like, teach me. She'll just be jumping, hopping, singing it, you know. Sometimes she says, today, mommy, my teacher, this, you know. As a parent, your child is only a child once. After that time, he won't be a child. He will be a teenager. And a teenager will relate differently from a child. So let your child speak. Let them be free to express themselves. And as they do, you can read in between the lines that this child is in control. But basically, we're telling you that let the children have a knowledge of who outsiders are. They must never go out with an outsider. And, you know, it's very difficult in this part of the world to tell a parent that everywhere your child goes, there must be somebody. But I've learned that in different nations all over the world, you cannot allow your child to go out with somebody that you don't know. But it's something we've come to realize, that many adults have taken advantage of children because of that. You know, it's senseless to allow your child go out with a cousin, a nephew, a male nephew, and this is a daughter. You know, I was watching a story one day, very devastating. Someone that was supposed to be a leader in a church went out with a teenage girl, and from going to a supermarket, this person said, let's just go in to pick some things up somewhere. I was watching this on a Christian channel, and when they got in there, this man raped her. Now, take note, they went to a shopping mall, picked something, and said, oh, let's just get in here and pick something. And that was it. And she wanted to kill herself because she couldn't imagine that this could happen to her. Many times, especially the moms, many women are very naive.
Yes.
And they don't realize that that's like selling your child away. By saying, go out with your uncle. He'll take you for lunch. He'll go and buy stuff for you. And you don't care to find out where is that out. And how long did they stay? And what did they do? Who were they exposed to? What language were they exposed to? These are very important things we're looking at. We'll just take a break now, and we'll be right back.